Digital fabrication is using it's kind of a variety of technologies. The most probably well-known and common is 3D printing. And the whole idea of digital fabrication is that you can have a data set in a computer model essentially, and you can send that to a piece of equipment like a 3D printer and have that 3D model 3D printed and turned into reality. Now, other technologies are CNC routers, which is in a sense the opposite. It removes material, so you start with a block of material and the CNC router will take that data set and remove material to make an object. 3D printing is an additive process where it builds up many fine layers. For me, it's something that's become much more relevant in architecture today, is how these technologies can be used, and specifically from my own research, I'm interested in how they can be used within the existing building culture and within existing skill sets and the existing building systems, as opposed to trying to reinvent the wheel. Sorry. Initially, it started as just a way to document or digitize the building, but we saw pretty quickly that having all that data, how could that actually inform the rehabilitation process, not just be a record of what was there, but inform that process. So we've been working with the stonemasons and again with Phil White, it's just been, it's actually, I find quite impressive that the government has that kind of foresight to fund the kind of research that we're doing to actually make an impact. Sometimes the masons want nothing to do with us, and other masons think that it's fine. And I can appreciate some of their position because it is a bit overwhelming. But at the same time, there's no doubt that it's going to change these kinds of jobs. But my preference would be for it to change their jobs in some way, as opposed to just kind of eliminating their jobs. And I do think it will bring about, and you see this in other trades, in welding and things, that robots, yes, a lot of people are afraid of automation right now, but if you have the right kind of skill set, I think that it's going to bring about a kind of a hybrid skilled trades where they're equally adept in digital work, and that kind of propels the work by hand. So it's not about trying to eliminate, but for sure all of these things are changing. On the other hand, in the 80s when computer-aided design or CAD work came out, everybody talked about how every office was going to be laying off their entire drafting department, and obviously that didn't happen. In architecture schools, digital fabrication technologies, laser cutters, 3D printers, CNC routers have changed the school, I'd say, dramatically, the way the students work. And in some ways, I think for the worse, in some ways for the better. I use the term digital arms race. Big universities, especially American universities, everybody is clamoring to get the latest and greatest robots, and I do think that we at SIMS are trying to take, at SIMS and at If Then Architecture, are trying to take kind of, again, a more nuanced perspective, and not just about replacing and coming up with something entirely new just for the sake of novelty, but how these things can change that. As for the trades, the schools that I'm involved in are architecture students, so I can't say one way or the other. I would imagine that they should be kind of examining these kinds of things, but I don't know if I can say one way or the other.